I've got a question for Robert. Firstly, I really love the natural environment, something like sound that makes me imagine the water, the spring, and the glass and the trees. That is really marvelous experience. I thought that could you really can I mean kind of I mean here is no even no plans, right? We are in a meeting. Could you really cheat people's brain for several times, repeat it again? I mean that is sound, and I can say it's more like a music, and that is good music can make people first time listen to it and get some emotional arousal. However, emotional arousal cannot be repeated for so many times.
Yeah, fantastic question. So, first part of it, like, really? Can we keep up that illusion? And then, the second part is, for how long? So there's a lot of clinical research that does support the ability of the brain to be tricked a little bit, particularly in hospital settings where there's a strong difference between just a blank white wall and if you have paintings of artwork, ambient audio. It actually does impact the quality of care for patients. And then for the second part of the question around the longevity, what I've found is that usually, as a composer, I'll write a piece of music, and that goosebumps kind of feeling that you get, it does tend to fade away, at 1 week, 2 weeks after I've written it. Even if initially it feels like it's something that's going to really stay there forever. But what I do find that with Breath of Life is that this is an instrument, and so because it's connected to your breathing, it's like when you get tired of playing the violin. It's going to adapt and modulate and change based on the way that you breathe, and it's also customizable so that you can change what's being played and how it's being played and how it interacts with your breath. So in that way, it actually does create much more longevity. And even while I was sitting here preparing for talks and just feeling the energy in my body, I had the app and my headphones on, and I was just doing it when I was sitting in the audience because it really does help me. And I've been listening to this audio for quite a while. So I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
就有一段时间非常流行一种叫脑波的技术，也有就是伽马波、白噪光，有各种各样的。然后网上还有这样的软件可以 download， 就是可以让你去想象，比如说你听这种脑波可以帮你吸引财富，听这种可以帮你吸引爱情。就是因为它有很多就是不同的种类来协助你去调整自己。那么我想问一下，就是你们音乐跟脑波之间有没有一定的关联，或者你的就是疗愈的效果或者目的有没有什么异同性呢
？First of all, there is a big difference between sound and music. Music is made by sounds, but sound is not music. Not yet. Music is a science which organizes the sounds in logical structures. Like syntax organizes the element of vocabulary as explained by grammar in logical structures, proposition, phrases, and so on. So sound itself is not music. It's a great difference. Now, this said, obviously, our brain produces all kinds of brain waves permanently. I mean, it's not that you listen to them in that moment we start to have delta. You have for it different waves could produce resonance. That's why music, there is music that means more frequencies. Some music calms you, some music makes you dance, some music makes you nervous, and so on. Because in your brain resonates more to that kind of beta waves or to delta waves. But it is not that the music itself contains this. It's your brain that resonates to the music, to the frequencies contained in the music. And to be clear, what physics called frequency. Brainwave in music is called musical notes. And I'm obtaining the same thing writing down. So the music and brain waves are connected by force, because music is made by waves and by some frequencies. And the brain resonates these frequencies. The resonation is like you have a gong there, and you just sing a sound, wow, and the gong starts to sound. That's the resonance.
就其实讨论这伊兰跟Robert 你们之前做的你们做的这个 app， 可能是有疗愈功能的。我自己觉得，那么你们一开始做这个的初衷，就是跟这个像网上流行的这个脑波有什么异同呢？就是或者有没有这样的元素呢 ？Actually， 就是因为我觉得你们这些音乐是它有一些，比如说科技性可以遵循的。比如说你觉得你的这一段音乐，它的 energy 首先是非常的就是 positive， 那么你们平时是怎么去汲取这些元素？就是你在创作的时候，是汲取什么样的元素呢？这有什么依据呢？科学依据是什么？或者灵性依据是什么？
Sure. So asking about the music that's created by myself, and music created by Elan, and what's the scientific validity of that? I'm thinking about also what's available online to download. Often online you'll find things like binaural beats, and you can Google and find them on YouTube. So yeah, there's a resplendent selection of those that are available. With the music that I write, in 2011 I started a group called the Mind Ensemble. And we were working with the Emotive EPOC headset, and so that actually reads microvoltages off the scalp. And so in that way we were using a biofeedback loop to actually create musical passages that were affecting the performer, that were in turn affecting the music that was created. So that's where the biofeedback loop starts to take place. When you think about these EEG headsets, you get this vision of going out in the future and being able to think like, I want to draw a picture of a bowl of popcorn, and I want to have that that's here while I listen to something that sounds like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, and I think it, go, and we should just be able to snap that into being. So when we think about performing with these types of headsets, we can get this idea that it's all about kind of using our minds like through direct force to actually create musical passages. However, in my experience, it's so much more about kind of learning about your body, because you're using literally your brain as a musical instrument. So it's like, can you relax? Can you get excited? And then your emotion starts to become musical in a way. My work with Breath of Life is also largely a result of this type of exploration, but I found that there's such a tighter correlation between the breath and the sound than there is between the brain and the sound. One of the tightest correlations I found with the brain was if I got an email that was a little unsettling, then the sound would beep, and all of a sudden my stress would go way off the charts. So that was something that would happen every time. But with the Breath of Life application, the correlation there is so tight that it really calls you into a sense of performing in real time. So to speak to the scientific validity, there are a number of papers that exist on things like the efficacy of biofeedback, other papers that you can find on the role of music, both individually and collectively, the ability for music to release things like serotonin, dopamine, gets into memory, experiential memory, who were you with the first time you heard that song, so Alex Graur could tell you a little bit more about that kind of stuff. But in terms of the healing aspects of the sounds, they will also be culturally defined, that is something I'm looking forward to studying. And I have had profound experiences with individuals and myself, where I have felt a lot, to use the terminology, shift through kind of energetically. And so it's still kind of hard for me to describe, but I'm excited. I've already had a number of conversations at this conference about different technologies that we can use to start to measure some of these things. So it's a great question.
当我从那个同声传译听到的翻译的时候，包括看到您的图片，我有看到您对一些冥想中的过程有进行一个评级，从 F10到 F35，然后其中所描述的症兆有 跨越时间、空间，乃至于好像有看到一些不同的景象。那我想请问您的就是说，您进行这个评级的依据是什么东西？
Okay, the question is on focus levels, and well, first of all, with the numbers on the focus levels, there is no correlation to anything other than what was used in the lab when the focus levels were developed. But I think when you go from focus level 18, which was the heart energy, focus level 21 is the edge of time-space, what we call the bridge to other realities. When you look beyond what we call the illusion of time-space that we live in here in the material world, there's any possibility. And amongst those possibilities are communication with, if you want to call them aliens, other intelligences, possibility of communicating with those who have crossed over, who you can meet at a level, a vibration level where there's some overlap. And then you go beyond there to what they call the belief system territories, which are focus levels 23 through 25, or 24 through 26. And in those territories there are people who have crossed over and they've had a belief system that they were so attached to that they haven't been able to transcend the earth. So they're in preparation for going back for another round at living a physical life. Those that have gone on to focus level 27, which they call the park or the reception area, are those that are able to transcend the physical life and are now in what they call a regeneration, rejuvenation phase. And these focus levels and the descriptions have been compiled from all the experiences of the explorers that they brought back to the monitors when this research was conducted. And I would say it's basically, it would be considered to be anecdotal.
就是说，这不同的注意力所呈现出来的现象，那么这些在实验中都有人做到了吗？
The answer is, can anyone have reached these levels? These levels are attained during states of meditation, and with the assistance of the hemisync sounds, you can achieve those in a program. In fact, there's one program of the Monroe Institute that's called Lifeline, and it was actually featured on a television show called The Unexplained, and you may be able to find it on the internet if you search for The Unexplained. And the name of the program was Journey of the Lost. And during this program, participants in what they call the Lifeline program were accessing those people who had crossed over, who were deceased, but were still attached to the earth, and were able to help them transcend their earth existence and move on to the what they call the white light. And that's the focus level 27. So this kind of experience is something that goes on with regularity during programs at the Monroe Institute.
接下来我问一个问题啊，我的问题其实是比较泛的，有点太又比较泛。我其实想说，声音怎么来加强我们的修行？因为既然是一个佛学的讲座，我想谈到修行这个问题。问题就是声音怎么来加强我们的修行？但是呢，我想说一下，就是说我是一个西藏人， 我们从小呢就受声音的影响特别多，我们会持咒，然后我们寺庙里的喇嘛呢会唱经师会专门的训练自己的声音，然后把自己的声音训练到有摄受力。然后我自己现在呢又在从事电视行业，做电视主持人，我就想说，那么声音对于我们的修行，需要你们从你们的经验上有些怎么样的交流？在我的经验中，包括我以往的看到的过程中，得到的很多信息，就是在我们的整个脑组织里，最后死亡的过程中，最后死亡的是我们的耳朵，所以。每一段的声音，包括在临终的时候去助念啊，这些都是靠声音去加持它。那么我希望说，你们有些什么样这样的一些经验，可能也希望能够多一些指導。
Wow. So asking for feedback around how to improve our sound.
I can speak to one aspect of that. Great question. Hearing is also the first sense that we have, which is interesting. You're indicating it's the last sense. How we can improve our sound, well, I'm going to answer that second. We can use sound related to Buddhism or meditation very simply as a presencing. Have a relationship to sound that relates to our survival and our primordial mechanism for safety. And sound is obviously deeply rooted in our experience. And so framing sound as a practice of attention and an anchor for awareness, simply the experience of listening to sound attentively and judiciously as a practice of active listening, all on its own is a meditative practice. As far as improving sound, what I just said is the path to improving sound. By exercising your capacity for noticing the sounds around you, you strengthen that capacity and how you process the information that you receive in. So it's really about attention and awareness.
你好，我想请教一下我们那个门楼眼前这位先生，就是我们这个门楼协会呢，遥视和那个遥视，就是用在通过很远的距离，那个用特异功能人在看这些东西，看这些现象，还有就是那个预测这方面的现象，从事这方面的研究没有？
Not in the way that you described, but I can tell you that the remote viewing program that I mentioned, the reason that Joe McMoneagle is affiliated with the Monroe Institute right now is because when that program was active, they sent the remote viewers to the Monroe Institute to learn how to meditate. And basically, I think the way that I can answer this, I've listened to Joe McMoneagle speak several times now, and I can tell you, I think the way that he would answer that question is, no, it does not give you the superpowers, but what it did for him to be able to engage and disengage a target, it took, with the training that we offered or at the Monroe Institute with the sound, it allowed him to get into a state that go from taking an hour to somewhere around 10 to 15 minutes to get into the state where he could do an effective remote viewing, decompress, and go back to working on his next target with the help of these sounds. So it didn't give him that ability, but his own ability was improved in terms of time by using these sounds.
我想请我们那个门罗实验室，如果就是说用历练，或者说我们刚才说的梦想去改变物质的结构，另外的话就生命的可逆性实验，比如说我们在中国，我们曾经做过油炸的花生，那么我们通过人工的历练，在几分钟让它发芽，苹果呢在那个通过 历练和在梦想的作用下，很快呢，青苹果变成红苹果，红苹果变成青苹果。这方面的实验呢，我们门楼这方面从事这方面的研究吗？
Yes, as I mentioned, there are several uses for hemisync, and I think it could be very helpful in focusing attention, helping you, like say for an athlete or somebody that's involved in intricate work. I know a number of people who use hemisync and use it whenever they're doing something that's very important. They're, like I mentioned, something that has a strong beta frequencies affiliated with it, helps you focus your intention, intention, when you're doing what you're doing and you visualizing yourself beforehand, doing whatever you perceive yourself, to improve your chances of success.
Fred, I got one question for you. You mentioned the level 27. Any person go beyond that, like 27 level?
Yes, as I mentioned, there is focus level 34 and 35, which was the last one on there, is considered the level to be what they call the gathering. And what we've observed at this gathering is, and the reason the term is called the gathering, is that there seem to be what we would call, first, when I define alien, or what I would call an alien is someone who does not have a physical presence on the earth. I think we're all made by one creator, so aliens like us, we're all one. However, an alien would be, this is where those we would refer to as aliens have some kind of an interest in the earth and the goings on the earth. It may be to help, to observe, to bring back to whatever, wherever they reside in their area, and we've been able to communicate and bring back information from them during some of these sessions. And there are some that go even further beyond in a program called Starlines, where you go out into the far reaches of other galaxies and whatnot.
We have time for maybe one more, or we're out of time? All right, we are out of time. Thank you so much, all the panelists today. It was such a pleasure paneling with you. And thank everyone in the audience and all the coordinators for arranging this event. I believe it is a little break time.